I'm going to be reviewing the Vanguard Investor Platform, looking at who it might benefit, who it might not be suitable for, the fees, what it offers. And as a bit of a spoiler, it's not as appealing as it once was due to some changes in the fee structure of the Vanguard Investor Platform, but I'll explain that in more detail. Now, there will be links in the notes of this particular video, so you can find the full review on the Main to the Masses website, which I will show on screen shortly. And any other platform that I mention, there will be full reviews on the Main to the Masses website, links in the notes below. So bringing our full review up on screen here, I'm not going to go through it all in detail. I'm going to give you some highlights. But Vanguard Investor was launched in the United Kingdom in May 2017, providing a direct platform for investors to access Vanguard's range of funds. Now, this platform was designed for DIY investors who were comfortable with making their own investment decisions regarding overall asset allocation of their portfolio and the individual funds that they would invest in. They've since launched the managed ISAs. I'll come on to those a little bit later in the video. So what investment options do you have with Vanguard Investor? Well, you've got a choice of 86 Vanguard funds. That's the key thing. You can only invest in Vanguard funds on this particular platform. And it includes 31 equity index tracker funds categorized by geographical focus. Additionally, Vanguard provides access to 39 fixed income and bond funds, as well as 16 blended funds, which notably include their popular Vanguard Life Strategy fund range. As I've mentioned, you can only invest in Vanguard funds on this particular platform. So if you want to invest in funds from other managers, or you might want to invest in things like shares, then you will be better off looking at other investment platforms. Now, in terms of account types, Vanguard Investor offers a range of different accounts, including the stocks and shares ISA. There's also the managed stocks and shares ISA, as well as a pension. There is a junior ISA account as well, but unfortunately, there isn't a lifetime ISA. Back to the review on the Main to the Masses website. When we talk about fees, you can see them on screen, but one of the primary attractions of Vanguard funds and their platform is their low cost. Now, the Vanguard Investor Platform charges an annual account fee of 0.15% on investments up to £250,000, which is broadly less than half the industry average. For investments above £250,000, there is no annual account fee on that portion, which results in a maximum platform fee of £375 per year. However, Vanguard did introduce a minimum monthly fee of £4 a month for customers that opted for its self-managed ISAs. So they don't apply on the managed ISAs, but they do apply on the self-managed ISA, SIPP, and general investment account. But that came into effect from February 2025. I must point out it doesn't apply to the junior ISAs, however. But it now makes Vanguard far less competitive for investors investing less than £30,000. I'll look at the alternatives shortly for those particular people impacted. In addition to the platform fee, investors will of course incur the ongoing fees from the underlying funds, but that's the same wherever you invest in Vanguard funds. Now, the minimum investment on this particular platform is £500, which is probably slightly on the high side, but there is a minimum regular monthly amount of £100, which might appeal to some people. There are, of course, other platforms out there like robo-advisor propositions that allow you to invest from as little as £1. Now, I just want to quickly show you the comparison of costs with different platforms. This particular article looks at stocks and shares ISAs on the Main to Masses website. I'll jump down to a table where we compare all the different platforms out there. Now, you can see if you're looking at the self-invested stocks and shares ISAs, this is how it compares with Vanguard down the bottom. So you can see that the £4 a month minimum fee that Vanguard now charges means it's far less competitive for people who have portfolios under £20,000. And in fact, you've got the likes of Hargreaves Lansdown, for example, for people who have small amounts invested, say £5,000, that becomes much more attractive because although its platform fee is slightly higher in terms of percentage, it doesn't have a minimum monthly fee that's applied. So it means now that Vanguard is no longer one of the cheapest platforms for people, even if they're investing in Vanguard funds, if they have small amounts of money. But also, it's still the case that at the high end, so larger portfolios, they are still not the most cost-effective platform, even if you're investing in Vanguard funds. That nicely leads me on to comparing the other platforms like Interactive Investor. Now, notably for investors planning to hold more than £96,000 in Vanguard funds within an ISA or general investment account, it can actually be cheaper to do that through Interactive Investor due to their fixed subscription model rather than Vanguard's percentage-based fee. Now, that is especially true if you get above that £96,000 level and head towards £250,000. If you've got a pension, then the threshold is £104,000. If you hold Vanguard funds above that value and you buy and hold and you don't switch, then Interactive Investor is the most cost-effective platform for that. The other advantage, of course, is that Interactive Investor has a wide range of investment options, including unit trusts, investment trusts, ETFs, direct share dealing. You can even buy gilts via the platform. So it is a more attractive proposition for those people with more significant sized portfolios. Down the other end, Bell Dodl is a new and interesting platform. It's an app-only platform, so that might appeal to some. I know that Vanguard Investor now does have an app that you can use. It didn't have one when it launched the platform, but having used it, it's pretty simple and it doesn't do all that much. So Bell Dodl is a little bit more impressive. It's a simple approach. It does offer competitive rates of interest on uninvested cash, and for smaller portfolios, it's actually very cost effective. It has a similar charging structure to Vanguard's with that 0.15% fee. There is no upper cap, but there is a £1 a month minimum monthly fee applied per account. So it does actually work out more cost effective for people at the lower end of the spectrum. It's also worth pointing out that it actually offers 3 of the most popular Vanguard life strategy funds on its platform as well. A lot of the new propositions out there, app-based accounts, don't offer the Vanguard life strategy funds, but Dodl does. And also you do get access to some share dealing services as well, so you can invest in a limited range of shares as well. Next, we move on to Hargreaves Lansdown. Well, although the platform fee might be marginally higher, it does a very strong customer service record and it has comprehensive research. And down the lower end, in terms of portfolio size, it is very cost effective and actually competes and is cheaper than the Vanguard Investor Platform. If you're looking for managed ISAs, then have a look at Wealthify, Money Farm, and also Nutmeg. On screen, I'm just showing you an article on the Manage to Masses website where we've analysed the performance of managed portfolios, so managed ISAs from a variety of robo-advisors. Now, the managed ISA from Vanguard is not on here because it's relatively new. It doesn't have that track record, but we've got the life strategy funds on there. So you can look at this table at your own leisure. You can see it on screen. There is a link in the notes of this video. Make sure you compare like with like. So the equity exposure there, if you're looking at performance, then make sure you're looking at ones with similar equity exposure when you're looking at that performance comparison. The fees there are based on £20,000 investments. That's the ISA allowance, but also do bear in mind that past performance is not a guide to future returns. It's also worth pointing out that services like Wealthify have a minimum investment amount of just £1, which is obviously much lower than the minimum I've mentioned for Vanguard Investor already. Now, there are a host of platforms out there that are viable alternatives for different scenarios. Now, we've got an article again on the screen that you can see, the 5 alternatives to Vanguard. We look at a whole host of them for like best all round. We've also got for people wanting life strategy funds, it's Invest Engine in that choice. We've already mentioned Bell Dodl for the investing app. Free trade is good for shares, also Trading 212. And if we look at the charges in the article as well with a nice heat map, but we'll put a link to that in the notes of the video if you are particularly interested. So to sum up, Vanguard Investor serves as a compelling option for investors who are real Vanguard fund enthusiasts, and that's because of the low cost nature of the platform and the funds. But the platform's fee structure has changed, and that introduction of that minimum monthly fee means for people with smaller portfolios it's no longer as attractive, and there are viable alternatives out there. And if you're an investor with a large portfolio of Vanguard funds, then you are probably better off being with the likes of Interactive Investor because of its fixed fee model, as long as you're not switching funds and changing regularly. If you're wanting a managed portfolio service or managed ISA, for example, then also have a look at Nutmeg, Wealthify, and Money Farm. We've put links in the notes to that particular article comparing those different services and their performance. So ultimately, whether Vanguard Investor suits you very much depends on your portfolio size, but also the range of different things you want to invest in. If you're just into Vanguard funds, then it is obviously a viable option. So that is the full review of Vanguard Investor. If you found that useful, hit that like button, but also subscribe to the channel. All of the links to all the different platform reviews that I've mentioned can be found in the show notes below this video.